Hi, so my name's Indi Radford.
Hi, I'm Max Kinder.
So growing up I always had a huge passion for food, and I actually was at university up until I did the course effectively. So I booked in to do it as a kind of gap year treat for myself. Thought I was going to go into teaching afterwards and actually ended up loving it so much that I went down the food route.
So I grew up around food. I had a father who worked in the food industry and had always thought about doing something, and was actually pointed towards Ballymaloo by Jess Shadbolt of King in New York and Jupiter now, and she totally convinced me of this being like the most incredible place you've got to visit. It really sowed a seed, and a few years later took the plunge. And we both did the same course, which was the first course back from COVID, and there was a slightly smaller group of us, and obviously we didn't do that much travelling around because there were certain restrictions, and that course is where Indi and I met.
Well, I remember bumping into Max on like the third day when he was trying to gather troops to go swimming at Ballycotton. And it was very cold. But we all went down, and then Max and I became really good friends, and then kind of grew from there really.
So after the course, I went back to working for Jamie Oliver for part of his food team, doing books and TV shoots, which I found was absolutely amazing. I'd done it a few years prior as well, but I'd always had this yearning to go and actually work in a busy kitchen. So I got in touch with the River Cafe and was offered a position there, which I spent the best part of a year at, which was amazing. It was nuts. Menu changing twice a day, learnt so much. It was an amazing experience and really turned everything I learnt from Ballymaloo into kind of restaurant and industry. Everything started to click into place at that point. I couldn't recommend it more as a next step.
So I put my dream of being a teacher aside, and I actually went down to Devon to work for a company called Piper's Farm, which is a cooperative of kind of small scale family farms, doing everything from butchery to the marketing to the buying, and it was so eye-opening. Very similar ethos to Ballymaloe, and yeah, it really opened my eyes to what I could do on the produce side, which had always been my love for food. And then somehow convinced Max to come up to the Isle of Mull, where my family's based, to set up our own cafe and farm shop.
Well, I think probably both of us in different ways had always thought about what you could do kind of for yourself and your own business. And during all of our time at Ballymaloe, Indi didn't stop talking about this place called the Isle of Mull, of which I hadn't heard of really. I knew it was on the west coast, and we came straight after the course, actually came up here for a couple of months, and I was like, wow, this is something extraordinary. It's like you've got lochs and glens, and you've got the sea and produce kind of coming out your ears. And after then going back to London and working, we kind of took the plunge to leave London, slightly overshot the countryside, and hit and land on the Isle of Mull. And we've been here for 3 years now and set up Glenforsa, which we're super excited about.
So we opened in April 2024 with the vision to kind of bring our culinary expertise to the Isle of Mull, but with a huge focus on local ingredients, seafood in particular, and a farm shop to tie in my love of produce. So we are kind of a base of all things on the island for visitors and locals alike, just to come have a nice cup of coffee and breakfast, or to buy local produce for their trip here. It's become a really special place with a really lovely feel, and that has always been our vision, to be more than just a place of food.
Our menu is actually very Ballymaloo inspired. A lot of delicious soups. We've got a rotating tart of the day, which we're always kind of changing for what ingredients we've got, local cheeses. It's like a refuge from what's not always gloriously sunny on Mull. It's a really cosy place to come in and just you feel like you're being looked after. We're in year 1 now, and we've got sites for so much more.
Yes, we always had the vision when we wanted to open that we were going to look to Ballymaloo for staff, particularly people who just kind of come out and weren't sure what they wanted to do. We've taken on 2 people, one from last year and one from the year before, which is great. And it's really nice to also give them an insight into not just restaurant, but kind of the farm shop and the produce side. And Ballymaloo teaches you so much more than just cooking, and really the food industry is so much bigger than just being in a kitchen. And so far they've really enjoyed it.
Yeah. For us, it made sense to go and search for people to join us, because we are relatively new in this industry, in this business, and what I felt I wanted to go into after Ballymaloo would be something like this, where it's not super hierarchical, it's none of that old school way of kitchens. It's a very nice environment to come and learn and train and push your ideas and push forward kind of collaboratively. And for us, reaching to Ballymaloe, not only kind of think you'd find those sorts of people, but also it's like a seal of standard. You know, we've both done the course, and you know what people have learned, and you know that there is just a level that people are at instinctively, which for us was so reassuring to convince somebody to come to the Isle of Mull and join us on this mad thing. And actually, you kind of knew that the pool of resources that Ballymaloe produce in their amazing students, it was a no-brainer really to go and search for,
definitely,
for kind of team members there. I mean,
you're
favourite part
I
was going to say it's milking the cows in the morning.
I love that.
That was just, I mean, it's the best cup of tea I've ever had. Because you go down and I remember one of them calling Betty, and she was in the lead. But yeah, it was just the early morning before going into the kitchens. If you've been in the greenhouse or the glass house, pulling up your veg, you've got the milk that you've just had from the dairy. It's you start your cooking at the very beginning, and that is so fundamentally important to anyone going into this industry, because you need to know where things come from, and to have it on your doorstep and such a wide variety was just, for me, a no-brainer.
I just really loved being that close to all of that, getting the sea food from Ballycotton and making sausages with Tiffin. It is just so magical, but it's so important, I think, as a lesson.
The seasonality aspect of it as well has so bizarrely come full circle. As obviously being on the west coast of Scotland, and we've not got a Sainsbury's and a Waitrose up the road. We have to be really crafty how we source and kind of how frequent we source, and especially looking at the seasons. It does mean that we have to look to using some of the skills that we learnt at Ballymaloe. Like, you know, you freeze your tomatoes when they're in height of season because you can have them a bit longer. You can use those sorts of crafty pickling, or just to kind of push the season out a bit further. And we're at the behest of the ferries being cancelled one day, and you know, something not getting over on time or whatever. So we have to really think quite laterally to make the best product that we want to, but also using what is available. And I think there were some really good lessons, definitely.
Yeah, 100%.
That have kind of come back to me from Ballymaloe that I didn't expect to kind of come back, but they've come back full circle, which is very rewarding.
I would say try and do everything, because you do not know what is going to inspire you. You go in thinking you're just there to cook, but you come out with a completely different outlook on like the food industry. Throw yourself into everything, especially the extracurricular. Just enjoy it, like breathe it all in, don't be stressed about the exams or anything. It's a huge learning curve, and the more you can just be relaxed and open to the whole idea, like I think it will really open your eyes to the future possibilities of what you can do.
I couldn't agree more. It is just the most magical 12 weeks you'll ever have, and it will go past so fast. Take time to kind of slow down and enjoy it. Keep your ears and your eyes very open. Go for a swim in the mornings. Even if you're going into winter time, definitely go for a swim. And just make the most. You'll meet the most incredible people that will splinter off and go into some amazing industries and create really cool future businesses. The network you create afterwards is just unbelievable. And you know, we've now come back across 2 ex-students that we wouldn't have necessarily met, but because there's this link that kind of joins you together, there is the most amazing people you'll meet going forward. So just lean in, enjoy it.
Yeah. Oh, kind of jealous.